Um, so this woman, it's just like we have to pressure ourselves into making the wrong decision. We go based off of what happens in the present moment, but before we can really sit down with ourselves, and this is something that I've actually learned. Before you go ahead, and there's been times where I had to there have been times where, you know, I've been tempted in ways to where I would have to make a decision, you know. And it's more so about thinking about yourself. And I thought about myself, and this is ways that I have matured, and I feel proud of myself, you know. When we see something taking place, it's so easy for us to go the other way. You don't know the true story behind what happened, but we see and we revert back to our past. So, us reverting back to our past is our safe place. Basically, this is the okay. This makes it okay for us to go ahead and go follow through with whatever we're feeling at that moment. So we think about, all the hurt, all the pain that this person caused us, you know, and this prevents us from moving forward, because just because we see something happening don't mean it actually went that way, or we didn't take enough time to ourselves to really think about what could have what this could have been or what that could have been. We just see something and we run with it, and this is where we make the most mistakes. And I feel like this is where patience plays its part in our lives. So reverting back to the old ways, we follow through with what might be wrong. But this is how powerful words are, how powerful our mind is. We think about something, we think about a certain situation, with this person per se. We think about a certain situation with this person, and we just can't get this person out of our mind. This person has become a seed. And eventually you start that person starts popping up in your life randomly, you know? And I feel like this is a test that we often fail. We fail because now we have a reason to disregard situations that may need our attention. But we're so, you know, we just feel like, I don't know. We just take control of the situation. We take control of the issue. You know, our pride. We allow our pride to keep guiding us in this wrong direction. You know, so we allow this seed, you know, to continue to grow. We got something over here, but we've been done so wrong in the past that we can't really focus on a future with this situation anymore. It's like kind of iffy, you know? So we allow this bad seed to grow. We allow this could be a weed in our garden. This could be a weed. And you're, kind of messing up your present because this weed is you're looking at this weed as a flower. You're kind of Just because stuff isn't going right over here, you're looking at this weed as a flower. And therefore, you go ahead and continue to water this weed like it's a flower, nurture this weed like it's a flower when it's actually a weed. We can't really see clearly in a situation if we're so quick to jump. I don't have faith in this situation. So, why does that give me a reason to go back to this situation? A lot of our past really affects our future. Our past affects our future. Our past affects our present moment. Just because it happened, and just because I moved on or we moved on from that, doesn't mean, doesn't make it go away because it happened. A lot of people talk about how, well, at the time this was a big thing for me, but it's a lot of people that does belittle, they are belittled by other people because other people wants to feel better about themselves, so they go ahead and they sabotage the situation so that they can go out feeling good. They take away someone else's happiness. They put their hands where it shouldn't be, you know, so that they can attain the joy or that feeling of confidence, that feeling for themselves. So they take from without giving anything back, and even if, and that's what you call a thief. That's what you call a thief. It's basically, that person is a thief. But at the same time, it's just like we receive so little for so much that we give. We receive so little, you know? If you don't have this, you know, but you have this, I'm going to take this from you and you won't have anything. That's how life is nowadays. And it's just like, how can you feel safe with building yourself up when you know at any moment it can be snatched? Why does it matter to build yourself up if you know this is going to be snatched? You know? It's like watering this, it's like you have this beautiful flower out in a garden. And I think I brought this up before. But it's like you have this beautiful flower or something you cherish the most. And at any moment you turn and look over your shoulder, it's gone. You know? Why do why is it okay for people to take? You know? And maybe it's because I already know that you're going to do wrong with it. You know, I'm giving you this, but you're so focused on the past that you can't see what you have. You don't have enough patience or enough, you're not humble enough to get what you deserve because your mind is so stuck in a dark place. It's so stuck in a dark place that at any moment this can be snatched. And this is not meant to be snatched. This is very important for you to have. So it's like if you look at it in a way of just imagine that person that's always taken from you being God's hands. God's taking this from you because God knows that you are a man by the end of the day. If I give this to you, you will. If I give this to you now, I can't trust this in your hands because I know all that you have already been through. So therefore, you're going to revert back to your ways, and you may not know what I know. You know, you have your experience here on earth. You have these relationships. You have this all going for you. So at any moment, I already know that something is going to happen to where this this plant I'm giving you is going to be plucked from all that we've built. This that I'm giving you, you're going to sabotage. You're going to destroy. You're going to kill. It won't survive until you're ready. So therefore, I have to take away your hope towards the situation. I have to keep, picking these little petals off of you. I have to keep picking these layers off of you because I'm building you to be something. You're becoming something that you just can't see yet. So you may cry and you may feel this certain way, but it's all a part of the plan. You are healing. This is your time of healing. But in your time of healing, I know that you are going to be reminded. And you being reminded is going to have consequences. So as I'm pulling down these layers and I'm putting you into these situations to where you see this, but it's on you to make the right decision, because if you don't make the right decision, I know that you're not ready. And later on, then I will have to take what I have for you back. God puts you in situations to where it's a test. You have to see if you're really committed, to see you're really true, to see if you're over all of this so that you can be given what I have for you that's new. But if you fail this test, then you're just causing more destruction. You're causing more of a mess to what I have in store for you. And this is where we feel like we get this disappointing emotion in our consciousness, because our intuition knows. Our angel knows. And this is your angel kind of, sad. It's that sad feeling inside. You messed up. Now we have to prolong the situation. Now we have to take more time. Now we can't get what was coming to us because of this error. You wasn't ready. You messed up again. You messed up. So therefore, now it's all about waiting again. It's all about, you got to pass that test again before you can move on. But the test will be presented in another way. So when we go back and we revert back to that mindset of all of those memories and all of those experiences in the past that really hurt us, we have to think about ourselves. Don't focus too much about, this person or that situation. Don't think about them, because this is going to mess you up. Because you're thinking about getting back at that person when it wasn't, and you don't know. It may not have been what it seemed to be. But you didn't take enough time with yourself to really question and reflect on what was going on. This part of you may have left with that weed you thought was a seed, and you kept nourishing and you kept watering. So therefore that part of you is over there. And you're so stuck over there with that weed that you're missing these plants. These plants need that water that you're giving to this weed. Because this weed has disguised itself to be a flower in your garden, when in actuality it was just a weed. So in these times, like I said, it's all about taking time out. It's all about thinking about yourself, and this is where self-care comes in. You sometimes you just gotta let that go. Let that part of your mind go. And that'll do so much justice. It'll do so much good for yourself. You just don't know until you actually do it. So if that piece of your mind is in that place, maybe that piece of your mind was a weed, a weed that was being plucked out of your garden. That weed, you know, had a seed of its own. So that seed was in your mind. And all you had to do was let it go, because when you let it go, that seed will be plucked out. That part of your brain will be plucked, that part of your mind will be plucked out, and back to where it belongs. You think this will do some good, and you're trying to get back at that person, or you're trying to get back at the situation, when it's really just a time of plucking. You got to allow this, you have to allow that situation to pluck that thought, pluck that idea out of your brain, out of your mind, so that you can move on. And once you move on, you feel easier. It's not about going this way when something happens, it's about going this way. And then when it all comes out and there's a little bit of clarity, you'll see it all unfold. And guess what? You didn't do nothing. You but sit with yourself. You didn't do anything but care for yourself. And now, when everything's said and done, you're okay. You did no wrong. There's nothing to think about. You have clarity, you have peace, and maybe that's just your peace. This happened, that happened, but the fact that you stayed to yourself, you've attained peace from it all. So when the past comes back to haunt you and you're feeling, like you gotta do something that's going to benefit you. How are you going to come out when all of this, takes place? It seems like it's the situations that are obvious to seem like it should be reacted upon. But if you don't, in those situations are so strong to where it's, obvious, it's common to react to this. And now you're at a point where just think about that situation, how strong that situation was. If you come out of that situation with no reaction, just think about how strong you are and how strong you have become, because you didn't react to a situation as usually acted upon, but you took it upon yourself to not react.